Hi and welcome. Kate McCarthy here from kateLMcCarthy.com and youronlinesuccessjourney.com. We are in the January series of productivity, profit and nourishment. And today I have Kellie Butler with me, who is a healthy food coach. And I'm going to get Kellie to just tell us a bit about herself. So Kel, your turn.
Hi Kate, thanks for having me this morning. I am the healthy food coach, as you said. I am passionate about sharing my message of eating real food and nourishing ourselves, mind, body and spirit, to keep up in the crazy busy lives we lead as wives, mums, business women, just general everyday life and keeping up with that. I got into this industry due to illness in my family. I had a 1-year-old with chronic diarrhea. I had a very sick husband and I wasn't keeping up. So I started studying nutrition and real food, and it's been a really nice journey to health and happiness for our family, and I want to share that message.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's a huge thing at the moment with our kids reacting so differently to a lot of things, as well as ourselves. We probably don't even realise it because we just adapt. But our kids are a really good barometer because, one, they're honest, but two, their bodies are just telling us, aren't they? And also, I suppose, when we go into the supermarket, there's just so many different things we can choose from that are easy. And I think that balancing that easy versus whole food or what's good for our body is a little hard when we're tight on time and probably a bit stressed as well with fitting kids in and work and business. So I think that's where you kind of come into the arena. You can help us look at things like that.
Absolutely, Kate. It's all advertising for the last 30 years has told us to do things the easy way, which is buy the packet from the supermarket. And I feel a lot of us, including myself, lost the way of what is real food and the ability, not only the ability of doing it ourselves, but thinking that it's harder to eat real food and prepare real food, you know, as opposed to the processed snacks on the supermarket shelf or dinner time things for that matter, or breakfast. And I think it's become a real challenge to get people back to doing that and realising that it's not so hard, that there's simple ways to keep up preparing real food for your family and packing the lunchbox in the morning without having to have everything packaged. 80% of packaged food is chock-a-block full of sugar, which doesn't help children in the classroom, at home, with their sleeping, their gut health, or our own. So, you know, all of us are suffering from this over-processed food that we've been told is much easier. And I think children maybe suffer more than us, but then as mums, we really, really struggle because we pay for the behaviour. We're peeling them off the light shades to get them to sit and do their homework or go to bed, or even sit and eat a meal, because when they get home they want to eat all this stuff. Yeah. So one of the first things actually that I get people to do, and it sounds a little bit crazy, but is to get a potato and a carrot and some broccoli and time yourself cutting it up. And all of a sudden you can see that that takes maybe 2-3 minutes longer than taking the lid off a jar.
It's so easy.
You know, we've forgotten that it is easy. And look, it's shoved down our throats that it's much easier to open the jar or throw the packet in the lunchbox. But many times it's really not much more effort to prepare some veggies or fruit or, you know, just plain meat even baked in the oven.
Yeah.
So
without the jar of pasta.
Exactly. Well, for pasta sauce, there's a little bit more to it, but I blitz up a load of vegetables with some sun-dried tomatoes and herbs and garlic, a lot of garlic. you know, a tin of tomatoes, and you've got pasta sauce with no additives, no preservatives, and no sugar, and it tastes amazing. That's actually my kids' choice now, of bolognese. So, you know, it's all these little things that our mums or our grandmas did that we've forgotten, and I think we need to get back to. I think, you know, big business has found a way through marketing to feed us a lot of foods that are doing us a lot of damage that we don't realise. And so yeah, I definitely am passionate about getting people to do that. And by the same token, as women, whether you have children or not, marketing has also told us that our bodies aren't good enough and we aren't good enough. We don't keep up. Our bodies, you know, are too big, too small, too whatever. We don't fit. So we're then also really mean to ourselves, which doesn't help. So the other part of my message is to nourish your body, but also your mind and spirit. And remember that you're actually amazing. It doesn't matter if you've got a few extra kilos because you've had a few babies, or just been too emotionally overwhelmed to worry about how many calories you're eating. You're still amazing, and you're still functioning in this crazy busy world, and that you actually have to be kind to yourself and remember, you know, and reward yourself. And I use food, but I use other methods as well. But that's another part of my message is really be kind to yourself.
And that's a really important part, is nourishment isn't just food. And if our kids see us nourish ourselves in all these different ways, whether with healthy foods, with our mindset, the way we talk about ourselves around our kids, but also getting out and being healthy and exercising, whether it's just walking to the park with the kids, or, you know, a gym if you want to, but the kids are actually being set up to learn how to nourish themselves along the way through their school journey. So how many, I suppose, looking at being a mum in business, and that's who we're talking to, what do mums in business come to you with? Like, what have they come and what have they said, oh, I feel like this? So I'm sure some of the mums are going, oh, you know, I feel okay. You know, and I know I did. I go to Kel for pep talks, everyone. You just heard how inspiring she was. So what would be some of the things that mums kind of come and go, well, I feel like this, or this is happening, and they might kind of identify and go, oh, that is actually me. So can you just give us a few of those pain points, to use the old marketing term?
I think often one of the big things I see in marketing and all over Pinterest as well, even though I've created a folder about it for myself, is actually time management and planning. So I freak out about scheduling stuff. I really don't manage scheduling things very well, and I tend to maybe not leave myself enough time. So what I've come up with is little methods for people like me, and to keep up and keep getting all this stuff done. My first kindness to myself is actually getting up at 5:30 or 6, somewhere between there, and doing yoga. That's the only way that's going to fit into my day, and that's for my mindset.
Yeah.
And so many mums in business don't manage to get exercise or get any time for themselves because you're too flippin' busy. The kids are crazy. I have to do yoga before they get up, or down the dog with a 3-year-old underneath you is just not that much fun because then the 5-year-old comes in from the front, and it just doesn't work when you've got to lay down and your arms are busted. So I have to get up earlier, but that also means that I see the sunrise. It also means I get a cup of tea that's hot and I get to drink it by myself. And I also, if I get up at 5:30 and not 6, I also get something homemade and baked that goes into the lunchbox.
That's it.
So that isn't for everyone, I understand, but thinking out of the kindness box it's really kind to me because I feel good all day. I feel good because I did exercise. I feel good because the kids got something healthy and homemade. And I feel good because I had that cup of tea by myself and maybe watched some ABC News. It's thinking outside, you know, the normal box of being kind to yourself is going to get a massage. That's not doable. A lot of mums have nowhere to leave their kids, say, and get the massage. So it's finding things that work for you and that you can fit into your schedule. Yeah. I kind of went off track there, because the other thing I wanted to talk about in that is actually meal planning and the chop and you know, preparing everything for the week on Sunday afternoon. And I never feel like doing that on Sunday afternoon. No. I can honestly tell you.
Hands up for that one.
Yeah. So sometimes meal planning comes down to, well, for us for a long time, as an example, is that on Wednesday afternoons, I only, this school year will be different, but last year on Wednesdays, I didn't have my 3-year-old son. I just had my 8 and 5-year-old girls with me. So we had a little date and we went to the butcher together and we selected 5 lots of meat. And a 6th one to go in the freezer, but 5 lots of meat that we could create into a meal, and I would buy the vegetables and things surrounding that. So then we had 5 meals for dinner. And, you know, if you don't have time on Sunday afternoon to write a meal plan and go buy all the things for it, sometimes, you know, it just doesn't work. But if you can have 5 meals ready to cook, basically, you're ahead of the game because it's in the fridge. Even if you haven't cut it all up and done all the things, it's in the fridge and it's ready to go.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's finding those pockets of time that works in with your weekly routine and bringing the kids in on it. It actually gives you that feeling of, you know, joyfulness, because the kids are having fun with you, and they are actually part of the meal planning process. So that kind of is a good something I'm going to take on board, because I've got fussy eaters. So that's another one. You know, what do you do with fussy eaters?
They will eat every piece of meat that you've just bought.
Yeah, because that in itself is not being able to have that time to yourself in the morning. I can see and I can feel how if you don't have that special time, whether it's morning, whether it's evening, when it's your mental time, if you get up and you've got to get into a day when you've got kids fighting you the whole time with food or with brushing a hair or anything like that, you can see how your day can just slide. So if you can have pockets of time that you know are special time, but also helping you be organised, it's a little bit along the lines of our last interview with Ellie with productivity and organisation, is scheduling them in your mind or on your calendar, but incorporating the family and making it fun for everyone, because we forget that it's not, you can have fun doing this stuff. It's not meant to be stressful and overwhelming, but we look at it as a big picture, don't we? And we need to break it down.
Definitely. If I know I have something on in the evening, or, you know, we have late swimming lessons like we do this week, then that time in the morning can also be used to throw something in the slow cooker.
Yeah, like that's a good idea.
Or prepping the veggies, or whatever your method of cooking is, but having, you know, just having a plan in your head sometimes works. And I know, you know, the experts say you've got to schedule it and you've got to do this, but for some personalities like mine, that freaks them out.
Yeah. I can schedule business stuff, not personal stuff like the kids stuff. I find that really hard with food prep, but it's finding that time, the pockets of time, and including everything.
Definitely.
What was
and
it?
There's the night before too is a big one.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing, I suppose, we're very fortunate in many areas, not all, because of course some regional and remote areas don't have that opportunity. But to be able to save ourselves time, we've also then got delivery services. If you can't have it delivered, you can always, you know, you can pick it up when you're in town next time. So you don't have to just go and slog your way through the shopping centre with the kids in tow. you can actually be organised and pre-order, whether it's from a dedicated fruit and veg service or whether it's from a supermarket. At least you can click and collect, and that makes it a lot easier. And you're actually planning whilst you're doing it. So if you're not one to schedule it. So that takes a bit of overwhelm out of screaming child syndrome. And the fact that they'll want lollies on the checkout, because of course all sugary things are put on the checkout. Okay, so so if you could give anyone watching one tip that could get them on track with food to start with, because of course we want to start nourishing our bodies so our mind is healthier, what would that be?
My first and number one thing is always to have greens with every meal. Some sort of green.
Okay.
And add protein to your breakfast. So lose the sugary breakfast cereal and get back on to oats if you have to have cereal, like have porridge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, chia puddings, bacon and eggs. My go-to breakfast is actually 2 scrambled eggs, fried mushrooms, chives, and half an avocado. That keeps me going for lunchtime. That's my absolute go-to. It's finding something that has protein that will have sustained energy over the high carbohydrates, which doesn't. It really only gets you the morning tea. You want to try and get to lunch if you can.
Yeah.
So finding something that floats your boat, that is high in protein and therefore sustained energy and healthy fat. So for me, that's actually the avocado. If I had that meal with bacon, I would be hungry pretty quick. I don't know why, but the avocado really keeps me going. You know, that sort of healthy fat is just so good for us and so good for our skin, our energy, just, all over health, avocado. But anyway, having some greens with every meal means that you're much closer to reaching a target of 5 serves of vegetables a day. So a serve of vegetables is half a cup of cooked veggies or a full cup of salad veggies.
Okay.
So when people, in my experience, have first started out aiming for that 5 serves, it can be kind of difficult. Once you get down the track, it's not so hard. But if you start looking at adding a serve of veggies, a serve of greens to 3 meals a day, you're over halfway there. Yeah. So look at 5 serves of veggies and look at, greens with every meal. It's all about adding in. What can I add in that is healthy? Is it I have a shake for breakfast, I'll add in chia seeds. Is it, what can I add in rather than what can I take away?
Okay.
Because then, if I just said to you, right, stop drinking Coke, don't drink breakfast cereal anymore, no more sandwiches for lunch, you would hate me and tell me to bugger off. Yeah. Add in the healthy stuff. So at lunchtime, if carbs, processed carbs and wheat in particular are my enemies, and I know it, and they know it, this sneaky thing. So I have to look at what can I add in so I don't need the bread. So is that how I came to start having fried mushrooms for breakfast instead of a piece of toast? I don't know. But it's adding that in. So I know if I add in the avocado as well, I don't want the toast. So if you have bacon and eggs with toast and you've got to have the toast, and I've worked with many clients on this little number, what veggies can you add that will mean you can remove the toast? Yeah. And then you're adding to your daily veggie intake.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. So it's what can you add in? Like, okay, I want to up my probiotics so I need to have kombucha tea, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Cheers
going
with the kombucha.
get rid of a can of Coke to have the kombucha.
Mm-hmm.
So it's swapping like for like.
Yeah. And so mums in business, this is what we're doing this because, you know, it's an addiction, isn't it? To have something that you can't let go of. It's helping get over that addiction, but the benefits are huge. It's the energy. It's the clarity of mind. It's the fact that your body's going to be working with you, not against you. And
definitely. And if you can get that clarity, you know, for me, carbs leave me bloated all over. It's like my brain as well. And I literally need to have a rest. But if you can nourish yourself with really good food, nourish your body and spirit with a little bit of time out and a little bit of exercise and that kind of thing, and good sleep, the 8 hours a night is the trick. We really should be aiming for it. Then your clarity of mind changes and you're going to attract more people. You're going to attract more people to your business, and you're going to be able to stay on top better, and you're going to be able to stay calm with your kids when things turn feral. And all these sort of things. So nourishing your whole self is key to everything. And the journey for me was definitely started with food. And then I moved in and realised all these other things where I was really hard on myself. So, nourishment is key to life.
Oh, that's the key to life. I love it. And you just certainly notice, like, and I know I've got a long journey to go because I've only just gotten back on the horse, so to say. You're just getting rid of the soft drinks, reducing the carbs and the breads and things. Just the mind, it really, you can feel the dramatic difference even in a few days. And I know that if you're ever looking at entrepreneurial journeys, well, one of the first things they do, and it's mindset. One of the other things they do is they have a healthy lifestyle. They're not throwing all the junk in their bodies, but they're exercising, they're eating healthily so they can be at their optimum. And, you know, if we want what other people have who are in the successful area that we're aiming for, well, then we've got to do what they're doing. Like, I'm not going to say everyone's like that because there are people who are outside the square, and good on them. Go for it if it's working for you. But if it's not working for you, okay, it's time to make a change. And what better time than the beginning of the year? But there's never any good time. But the best time is right now, because if you just keep going, you're just going to be in that downward spiral. And who's that helping? Okay, it's easier to say, no, I'm not going to have that drink tonight. I'm not going to go to going to the shop. You don't have to reach for that soft drink, or the kids don't have to have that processed, you know, packet of chips. And ladies just said it takes a couple of extra minutes to cut up some veggies to put in a Ziploc bag and take in your bag with you. And I know that that's what my kids are now getting. I don't know about you, but I actually blend veggies and put them through the mince, because that's the way that they're getting their greens. If they see the greens on the plate, then they're not going to touch them. But if they don't know they're in there, well then, whew, one for mum. But anyway, we've had, this has been awesome, Kellie, because, you know, it just reinforces, like, it worked so well before we've got all these processed things. Yes, they're yummy, but they aren't doing us any good. It's not as if we have to cut them all out immediately. You're still going to have those treats because they are around us. But it's what we do every day mindfully to nourish ourselves and our children that will help us grow ourselves, but also our business, and attract people that we really want to attract, because we're being the person we want to be as well. So Kellie can be found at, give us your website so people can find you.
kelliebutler.com.au.
And Kellie, we neglected to say at the beginning, Kellie is actually an ambassador for that sugar film. So it is something very close to her heart as well. So the sugar and the added sugar that we don't see in the meals that we're buying from the shops. So take time to go to Kellie's website, have a look at her details. If you want to contact her, her details are on there. But I'll also put the details below the video, plus her Facebook page. Is there anything else you wanted to share as we finish up, Kel? Anything that mums need to hear?
there's just a little one that if you go to my Facebook page, there's actually, the first video I ever did was actually about it, is if you're looking at this sort of a journey and you haven't started and you're sort of wondering whether, you know, it's all a little bit of hype, is my daughter at 2 was very crazy. She's the girl with the curl in the middle of her forehead. She's very cute and very angry. And we did all sorts of dietary changes, and we took lots of sugar and lollies and this and that, and things changed. But the biggest game changer for us was actually those little pop-top juices. You know, the ones that you think you're giving your kids an apple juice at the supermarket to keep them calm as you go around. Things like that have up to 7 teaspoons of sugar in them, which is actually more than an adult requirement. So that's one thing I like to tell people, that it's looking at labels, but it's one very good reason to get away from processed food. But those Pop-Tops were a game changer in Daisy's behaviour at 2.
Wow.
And it's something that to us, it's still such a big shock that you fit that much sugar, but that they make so much difference in children's behaviour. I can't imagine what the blue ones do. That was just the apple juice. So sugary drinks would be, for children in particular, but for all of us, are definitely something to look at if you're starting on this journey. And the other thing, I know I've gone on a bit about it already, is actually really love yourself, really love that body no matter what it looks like, because it's got you to here, it's nourished your babies, you know. It's pretty darn incredible what these bodies of ours achieve on a daily basis. So really love that body, and sleep.
Sleep. Yes, I know that's important. Okay, well, thank you so much, Kellie. Really appreciate what you shared. And mums, I really hope you've gotten something that will help you take that next step in nourishing your body, your mind and your spirit. Thanks for coming today, and we'll see you next week for the next instalment, which is the profit part of our series. Bye for now.